Hey folks, today we're going to be taking a look at a couple of websites that will help you to do some logo image searches. Now there's nothing worse than creating a logo concept or even taking a logo to a final design stage only to find that someone else is either using the logo or it's been registered as a trademark. It's a big waste of time and potentially a big waste of money. So one thing that I do when I'm creating logo designs is when I get to the stage in the design process where I'm happy with a concept, I will go and search the internet to see if there are any logos which are exactly the same or very, very close to the concept that I've created. Now there are a couple of websites that I use to do that. One in particular which helps me actually check to see if the logo is a registered trademark. So let's jump in and let's take a look at a couple of logo designs and see what results we get on each of these websites. So the first website that we can use is good old Google, and you want to choose the image search option on Google. So if you go to google.co.uk or google.com, whichever is your base Google homepage, if you look up on the right hand side in the window, you will see a link that says images. So if you click on that, you will get a new window and there's a little camera icon. If you click on search by image, it will open up this window, and what you can do is you can drag in an image from your desktop, or you can upload the image, or you can even paste in a URL from an image which you find online. So I have a couple of logos off to the side here. The first one I'm going to choose is the Nike Swoosh. So let's drop that in and see what results Google give us. So no surprise there, but Google has picked up that it is the Nike Swoosh, and it's showing a few options there, and it's giving us some links through to those pages. The next site that I use is TinEye. I've used that for quite a few years. I find it can be hit or miss, a bit like Google, to be honest. Sometimes it picks it up and sometimes it doesn't, which is why it's another reason I like to use more than just one site when I'm looking for image results. So let's pull the Nike Swoosh into here. Again, you can just drag it in, or you can upload or paste the URL. And like Google, TinEye has pulled up the Nike logo with links to websites that we can go to and check out for more information. And the last website I'm going to show you is the WIPO Global Brand Database. Now this is a site that I use a lot because it covers all of the countries that have trademarks, and its database is fairly comprehensive. You can search for a simple name. So if you're thinking about changing a name or creating a name for your business, you can go into here, and over here on the left hand side of the page, you've got search by. You can type in a name and it will search to see if there's a trademark with that name. I actually have a video where I show you how to do that process with a couple of different filters, and you will see the link for that at the top of the screen now. I will also include a link to that in the description of the video. The one that we're interested in today is on the right hand side, which is the filter by section, and it will be on source when you first get here. But if you click on the image tab, you will see some options over here for doing an image search. So we've got concept, which does a search for images determined by the artificial intelligence to contain similar concepts to the image that you upload. We have shape, images with similar lines, similarly distributed through the image. It ignores any color that you have in the image that you upload. Then we've got color, images with similar colors, similarly distributed throughout the image, less accurate on the shape side of things. So if color is important, then that's the one that you probably want to filter by. And then you've got composite, which uses all of the ones above, but again, it's a little less accurate because it's trying to kind of fit it in with everything. So generally, the best thing to do is I will do a search under each of these for the same image just to see what results come up, and it gives quite a good intensive search that way. And you also have an image type, so if it's text, if it's a word mark, you can click on verbal and it will look for, it'll do a search for images that contain text. You've got non-verbal, so icons or graphics. Then you've got combined, so you could have an image and text. And then you can just choose unknown and it will just kind of do a search there on its own. So you can see here that the WIPO search is a lot more comprehensive than Google or TinEye, in that with Google and TinEye you just drag your logo in and it just automatically searches the web. With WIPO website, it does a more comprehensive search and searches for trademarks in its database. So just to make clear, WIPO searches its own database. It does not search the internet. So with the results in WIPO, you will be getting results from registered trademarks. There may be logos out there which are similar to the design that you've created, but might not show up in a Google or TinEye search. And if they're not a registered trademark, then they will not show up in the WIPO search either. So as much as, you know, I'm using these three sites, it's not comprehensive, but it does give you a good indication whether or not, you know, you should proceed with that concept. So again, let's drag in the Nike logo, and we've dragged that in now, and we're going to choose shape for this one, and we're going to say it's non-verbal. And then what you do is you go over to filter and just click on filter. So you can see here that it has brought up lots of swooshes. Now I'm using the grid search here because you can see more images in one place. There's a little set of options here, list view and grid view. If you click to list view, it shows all the logos down the right hand side and gives you all of the information, the brand name, who holds the trademark, the company, whether it's active or inactive. So there's a lot of information there. You can also click on the line in the column or the image in the grid and it will open up even more information. Now, one thing that can be frustrating is once you've looked at this information, do not click back on your browser back button, because that will just take you out of the search. You want to click on this little back link here. That will take you back to the search results that you were in. So we can see here by going through WIPO, TinEye and Google that the Nike swoosh comes up and it's really clear that it's there, so you wouldn't want to create a logo which is similar to the Nike swoosh. So let's do a couple more searches using some famous brand logos, and then we will do a search with a logo concept which I had developed. So we want to go back to the image search, so we'll get that open and I'm going to pull in the Gucci logo this time and see what Google does with that. Yep, straight away it's brought it up. It's given a possible related search as well, so vector Gucci logo, and you can see here we've got some images and some web page results as well. We'll go back to TinEye and we will click on upload to just upload a new one, and we'll click the Gucci logo. See what results come up here. Straight away it's recognized that it's Gucci and it's given us some links to pages where that logo sits at the moment. Let's go to the WIPO. So we want to clear the Nike search, so all we do is we click delete here and then we can uncheck and just clear the search parameters. I'm going to drag in the Gucci logo. Again, I'm going to do this one by shape, and I'm just going to not choose anything here, and I'm going to click filter. And that's brought in search results fairly quickly again. We can see here that this one isn't Gucci, but it's the first results. But as we kind of move along, we can start to see we're getting some Gucci America and lots of other, you know, Gucci trademarks. But there's enough information here to show us, yes, this logo design already exists, so we're not going to bother proceeding because we would end up in some hot water with the trademark owner. Let's go back to Google, do another quick search. So we will this time drag in a combination mark which has got an image and some lettering, which is the LG one. Google has had no problem picking that up. Let's go to TinEye and upload the LG one into there. You can just drag it onto the page. Again, we've got results here for LG, no problems at all, with links through to where it sits on some websites. Let's now try the WIPO, delete the old Gucci one, and drag that in. This time I'm going to go for a combined search, and I'm going to go for let's see what we go for. Let's just go for composite this time and click filter. Okay, so that's brought up lots of results here, and after kind of scanning down we can see that the LG logo does appear, so it would be very, very clear. But let's just actually see what happens if we take off composite and we change that to shape and run the filter again. See what difference that has to the results on the page that we get here. And this may give us an indication of why it's a good idea to choose different combinations of filter strategies when you're looking on the WIPO, because it may be that on one you don't get the result, but on another you get a clear result. And you can see here on this second search where we've used shape instead of composite, we're actually getting a full page, well, an almost full page of LG logos. If we go to page 2, see what comes up when we get to page 2. Yes, so we're starting to get other brands in which are, you know, similar. They've got a circle and then they have some text next to them, but the LG one is very, very clear. So let's do a search using a logo concept which I had created. I was working with a client and I was creating a logo for them, and I came up with a concept which I really, really liked, but I thought, well, I want to do some due diligence on this, so let's search and see if that comes up with anything. So let's pull that one into Google first. So let's do a Google image search and let's pull in the logo concept which I'd created. So it's this one up here, and the brand is called Connect, Social Good Connect, and I had a concept using dots that were connected which formed a letter C in the negative space, and I really, really liked it. So you can see here, looking at a Google search, it's not really brought anything up which is exactly the same. There is one down here which is sort of, if I rotated this one, then it would be, there's similarities here, but that wouldn't, that search there would not worry me. So I would probably be like, okay, that's fine. There's nothing, I can't see anything here in that sort of very first surface level search. So let's go to TinEye and drag that image into TinEye and see what happens there. Okay, so it's kind of brought up some images. Again, nothing really which is exactly the same. It seems to be bringing up a lot of dots. You can go forward a few pages just to double check, see what's coming up there. No, it's just bringing up lots of dots. So again, I'd be like, okay, that's a good result. That's fine. Still kind of happy to proceed with that. But let's take a look on the WIPO website. See if there's any registered trademarks there which aren't coming up on this on the web browser. The Google and the TinEye databases. So we're going to drag this over. We're going to do a shape search, and it's non-verbal, and I'm going to click filter, and let's see what comes up. And look at that, straight away the first option is incredibly close. It's slightly more square, like it's squashed in, but and then there's another one which is close again. We've got this one over here. So, and then there's this one down here which is probably closer actually to it in terms of how stretched out it is. So and then there's another one here. So it's clear to me that, I'd want to think very, very carefully about this. And this is actually a concept from a logo which I was working on for a client. And we did look into this and we spoke to some trademark lawyers. And even though these logos, which are similar, they're in different industry sectors, the advice that we were given was that it probably wasn't a good idea to push forward with that and to create a different concept. So I went back to the drawing board and I created a different concept for the client. We ran that again through all of these. It didn't show anything similar or the same, something that would mean that probably wouldn't go through trademarking. We checked with the trademark lawyers and everything was good to go, and that's kind of running through the process. So I hope you found these 3 sites a good resource for you in the future when you're looking to see if you have any concept designs which may already be out in the wide world being used and could cause you some issues if you start to use that logo yourself. It's always good to do these checks because you don't want to waste time, you don't want to waste money, and you definitely don't want someone taking you to court for trademark infringement. If you want more brand and design advice, please make sure to sign up to my Rock Your Brand newsletter. You can find the sign up form at rockyourbrand.co.uk. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and until I see you next time, stay creative, folks.